Observe your hands for a moment. Are they open, relaxed, ready to welcome what comes? Or are they tense, closed around something you fear losing? The simple physical posture often reflects our inner state. Our mind, like our hands, can open to embrace the richness of the present moment, or close anxiously around what it seeks to possess or retain. We live in a culture that values mastery and possession. From our earliest age, we are taught to grasp objects, knowledge, opportunities, relationships. Success is often measured by what we have managed to capture and retain. Our homes overflow with objects, our schedules with commitments, our minds with worries. And yet, despite all these acquisitions, a feeling of dissatisfaction persists, as if what we truly seek always eludes us. Taoist wisdom offers us a different vision. It suggests that our suffering comes not so much from what we lack, but from our determination to grasp and control. As Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, "He who clings to things loses them." This simple phrase contains a profound truth. It is precisely our grip on what we desire that prevents us from fully enjoying it. Imagine a bamboo grove during a storm. When violent winds blow, the bamboos bend deeply, almost touching the ground. But as soon as the gust passes, they rise intact. Beside them, more rigid trees resist proudly, refusing to yield until they break under the force of the wind. This image of bamboo is rich in teaching for us, as it perfectly illustrates the principle of Wu Wei, or non-action. The bamboo does not seek to fight the wind, nor does it rigidly cling to its vertical position. It temporarily surrenders to the force that exceeds it, then naturally regains its balance when conditions change. This is precisely what letting go invites us to cultivate. Not a passive resignation in the face of life's difficulties, but an inner suppleness that allows us to flow with circumstances rather than break by resisting them. For letting go is not the abandonment of all action or intention. It is rather the abandonment of our grip on results, our obsessive need to control the course of events. It is the ability to do what is right and necessary and then let things follow their natural course without trying to force a particular outcome. We can identify 3 forms of attachment that prevent us from fully inhabiting the present moment. Attachment to the past. We cling to memories, regrets, past successes, unhealed wounds. This fixation on what no longer exists makes us nostalgic or even bitter, risking turning us away from the present moment onto which we project these ghosts of the past. As Zhuangzi says, do not let the past clutter your reality. Each moment is new. Each instant is virgin of all history if we know how to look at it with fresh eyes. Attachment to the future. We constantly project our hopes, our fears, our expectations onto a still non-existent future. This anxious anticipation or constant daydreaming steals from us the only reality we have, the here and now. The Tao reminds us that the future does not yet exist, that it is as ungraspable as the water of a river we would try to hold in our hands. The only way to truly influence the future is to be fully present in the current moment. Attachment to outcome. We set precise goals, rigid expectations about how things should unfold. This fixation makes us blind to unexpected opportunities, alternative paths, the hidden gift in apparent failures. Taoism teaches that life is too complex, too interdependent for us to predict all the effects of our actions. It is better to act with integrity and presence and then let results manifest themselves. When we release these 3 attachments, we discover a new freedom to welcome life as it presents itself, moment after moment. There is a fascinating paradox that Taoist sages observed millennia ago. The more we grip our objectives, the more they tend to escape us. Conversely, when we release our obsessive attachment to the result while maintaining a clear intention, things often seem to realize themselves with surprising ease. This phenomenon, which some contemporary psychologists call the law of reversed effort, proves true in many domains. The student who anxiously labors over their revisions ends up blocking their memory, while one who studies with relaxed concentration better integrates information. The artist who desperately seeks inspiration sees it flee, while it often visits the one who has created the inner space to welcome it. It is not about renouncing all intention or effort, but about transforming their quality. Instead of a tense effort, born of fear and greed, we cultivate a relaxed effort born of clarity and presence. Instead of a rigid, egocentric intention, we develop a supple intention aligned with the greater good. The present is not simply a fleeting point between past and future. In the Taoist vision, it is the only place where life truly manifests. It is only in the present moment that we can perceive the beauty of a sunset, taste the sweetness of a fruit, feel the warmth of an embrace, or have a creative intuition. It is only in the present moment that we can love, create, heal, understand. Yet we spend most of our lives mentally elsewhere, ruminating on the past, anticipating the future, escaping into infinite distractions. This chronic absence from our own life creates what contemporary philosophers call the paradox of modern happiness. The more we have material comfort and possibilities, the less we seem capable of fully enjoying them. Taoism offers a simple explanation for this paradox. True joy is not found in the quantity of experiences we accumulate, but in the quality of attention we give them. A single conscious breath contains more life than a year lived in distraction. A single instant of total presence can reveal more beauty and meaning than a decade of frenzied rushing. As Lao Tzu writes, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. This peace the sage speaks of is not a passing emotion, but a fundamental state of being that emerges naturally when we stop dispersing ourselves in time and return to the only reality, the here and now. Heraclitus, the Greek philosopher, said that one can never bathe twice in the same river. This image expresses the impermanent nature of all things, this fundamental truth that Buddhism calls anicca and that Taoism recognizes as the great dance of change. Nothing remains identical, not even for an instant. Our body constantly renews its cells. Our thoughts succeed one another like clouds in the sky. Our emotions rise and fall like waves. Relationships evolve, circumstances change, seasons follow one another. To want to freeze this perpetual flux is to go against the very nature of life. Taoist letting go invites us to make peace with this fundamental impermanence, not to resign ourselves bitterly, but to recognize in it the very condition of beauty and vitality. For if nothing ever changed, if flowers did not wilt, if seasons did not turn, if children did not grow, life would lose its dynamism, its freshness, its capacity for surprise and renewal. To accept change is also to recognize the unique value of each instant If this precise instant will never return identically, what attention does it deserve? If this encounter, this experience, this sensation, this thought is absolutely unique in the history of the cosmos, how could we treat it distractedly as a simple means to something else? Taoism invites us to this revolution of perception, to feel the rain falling now rather than rushing to the next shelter, to truly listen to the person speaking to us rather than mentally preparing our response or our next activity. There is a strange similarity between the Taoist sage and the young child. Both possess this capacity to be totally absorbed by the present moment, without calculation, without inner division. The child playing with a pebble is not elsewhere. They're entirely in their game without worrying about what they will do next or what they did before. Similarly, the sage who sweeps their courtyard, prepares their meal, or meditates near a stream is fully present in their activity, without mental agitation, without dispersion. This quality of undivided attention that Taoists sometimes call beginner's mind is natural to us. We do not have to acquire it. We simply have to rediscover what our mental habits and our education have covered over. As Lao Tzu says, the Tao acquires nothing. It simply returns to what has always been there. Letting go is not a sophisticated technique we should master after years of effort. It is a return to our fundamental nature, to this innate capacity to be fully alive in the present moment. The child makes no effort to be present. They are so naturally until social conditioning teaches them to divide their attention, to constantly project forward, to worry about others' gaze. The Taoist path is thus paradoxically a path of unlearning. It is not so much about acquiring new skills as about undoing the mental habits that separate us from our original spontaneity, from this natural presence to what is. This return to spontaneity, to this pure presence of the instant, is at the heart of Taoist letting go. It is an act of stripping away, an invitation to release the layers of habit, fear, and expectation that distance us from life as it offers itself. Lao Tzu, in his profound simplicity, tells us, abandon knowledge and worries disappear. This knowledge he speaks of is not useful knowledge, but the cluttering of the mind with judgments, projections, desires for control. Letting go means emptying this excess, making silence within oneself to hear the discreet song of the instant. Imagine a leaf falling from a tree in autumn. It does not resist the breeze, does not cling to the branch, regretting the past summer. It lets itself be carried, dancing with the wind until it touches the earth. This leaf embodies Wu Wei, the art of following the natural flow without opposing it. Letting go is becoming like this leaf, not inert, but light, confident in the movement of life. It is understanding that each instant, like each fall, has its own beauty, its own meaning, even if it escapes our understanding. This return to the instant requires an inner revolution. Our minds, conditioned by a culture of accumulation and haste, have become like stretched nets, always ready to capture. We catch ideas, emotions, experiences, believing that by retaining them, we will be richer. Chuangzi warns us, he who wants to keep everything ends up losing himself. Letting go is loosening this net, letting things pass through us. It is discovering that we are not diminished by what we let go, but enriched by what we welcome without retaining. This letting go embodies itself in humble gestures, almost invisible. It is listening to a melody without thinking, of the next one. These acts so simple are living meditations, ways of saying this instant is enough. It brings us back to what Lao Tzu calls original simplicity, this state where the mind, free of its shackles, unites with the rhythm of the world. Yet letting go can frighten us. We fear that by releasing our grip, we will lose our way, our identity, our security. But Taoism reassures us. What we release is not the essential, but the superfluous, these burdens we carry out of habit, these illusions of control that exhaust us. The present moment, when we abandon ourselves to it, does not deprive us of anything, but restores us to ourselves. In this abandonment, the instant illuminates with a new clarity. When we release our attachments to the past that weighs on us, to the future that worries us, to the results that obsess us, we make space for what is. A breeze becomes a caress, a ray of sunlight a revelation, a silence a fullness. Lao Tzu says, the Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. Letting go means aligning with this mystery, acting without forcing, loving without retaining, living without clinging. And this release requires a deep trust, a faith in the natural flow of life. Our minds, shaped by a culture of conquest, resist this opening. We fear that by letting go, we will lose control, that the world will escape us. Letting go is not losing oneself, but finding oneself in this vast current, like a swimmer who embraces the waves rather than fighting them. And if we dared, even for just an instant, to open our hands, relax our fists, let slip what we hold so tightly, this gesture is a door to freedom. Lao Tzu, in his purified wisdom, whispers to us, let go and you will be whole. For in the heart of this rediscovered simplicity, a space opens, a vast silent space without precise contour, but of a moving sweetness. It is in this emptiness, not synonymous with absence, but with welcome, that the song of the world can finally resonate. And in this song, we recognize something very ancient and yet always new, our true nature. Taoism suggests we cultivate suppleness rather than rigidity, adaptability rather than resistance, trust rather than fear. Not to passively resign ourselves to injustices or destructions, but to act from a stable inner center, from this lucid presence that allows us to respond to challenges with creativity and compassion rather than with reactivity and tension. Thus, Taoist letting go is not an end, but a beginning. It is the start of a life where each instant is lived for itself, not as a means, but as a simple offering, alive, infinitely sufficient. In letting go, we lose nothing. We rediscover everything, peace, presence, and the joy of simply being here and now.